Hey there. So we have a beautiful, beautiful sunny day today. One of the last, I think, really hot days, hopefully. It's actually like 90 degrees Fahrenheit today, so it's pretty warm. But I came out here to do a couple of main things in the garden. One is starting to set up my row covers, and then the other thing I'm going to do is actually start a few more seeds for inside. So I've been direct sowing a lot of things, but I still have some summer annuals in containers, and so I want to start a few seedlings inside that I can kind of plant out as I need to, as spaces start to open up, or we're about, like, I would say just about a month from our last frost, so some of these summer annuals are going to be dying back soon, and I figure it'll be good to have like some replacements just going on inside. We also, of course, have been dealing with some pest damage. This bed over here, I've got to come out and like weed out all of these tomato seedlings. So many volunteer tomato plants in here. But I've re-sowed this a second time actually because we've just had damage from the not the squirrels. The squirrels are starting. That's why the row covers are coming on. But we've had damage with slugs and snails, and now it's starting to be the season when the squirrels just go absolutely crazy. Like, we have so many squirrels in our neighborhood, and they just dig through the beds and cause so much destruction. And I don't blame them because they're just trying to survive and do their thing. But it really makes it hard, especially with seedlings, because they can do a lot of damage pretty quickly. And the bigger plants tend to be okay. They tend to kind of dig around them, but like the seedlings just get obviously completely disrupted. And so that's part of why I'm also going to do some more starts inside, because I realized, I was going to go to the garden center and buy starts, and I still may do some of that. But then I thought, I could also just start some more things inside and have those ready. Start some of these lettuces. Like these I started in July, and I planted them out, was it end of August? And as you can see, they kind of bolted. Like it was a little too warm for them still. So they're going to need to be replaced. And I tried to do a little bit of re-sowing of lettuce, but squirrels are starting to come in and they like just scratch through, and then that causes a bit of a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out these plants over here, even though they're looking still beautiful. This coleus and this sweet potato vine, they need to come out so that I can get my row cover on here. And then I'm just going to throw in a few more seeds indoors, and so I can come back out and fill in any gaps that start to happen in this bed. Hopefully, like, the Swiss chard is still looking pretty good. I could probably groom it up, but it still looks like it's doing pretty well here. And I just need to come in and take all these, just weed all these guys out of here. So that's kind of the strategy today. Get these row covers on, and get the seedlings going. Yeah, the squirrels are hard, and I've tried different deterrents, like putting down you can do garlic powder, you can do like things to kind of deter them. But what I found was best in the end is just a physical barrier. And so I'm going to use row covers, and I've been holding off as long as I can because it's still been so hot out. And the row covers that I have are actually these like accelerator row covers. I got them from Gardener Supply. They kind of are supposed to help keep your plants like warmer through the winter, and they do a good job of that. So it's hard right now when it's still so hot. I don't want these plants getting too hot, but they're going to be in the shade. And starting tomorrow, we're supposed to get a big rainstorm, and temperatures are supposed to go down to like the 60s, 70s Fahrenheit, which I think will be just fine. I think that'll work. It's all a little bit of an experiment, but if I wait much longer, the squirrels are going to get into these beds, and then I'm going to be really sad. So I'm just going to go ahead and put those row covers on. All right, so I got the row cover on. That's good. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the other one over here on this bed and just tuck all of that in. And what will be nice too is that that'll keep all the cabbage moths off of some of the brassicas. Like in here, these are the Morris heading collards, which are just looking so beautiful. I am so happy with these Morris heading collards. And then these are the giant red mustard. I mean, they're just looking so good. Everything in here actually is looking really good. Got the Tom Thumb or little Marvel garden peas, little short peas. We've got some Mizuna, cilantro. Like everything is actually doing really well in this bed, so that'll be good to make sure that the squirrels don't get in here. And I'll just like pull these green onions up and kind of, you know, tuck them in a little bit, and then they should grow. I did go in and water everything first. Typically, like if it rains, it does pretty well getting through the row cover because there's a mesh top. And I will take the row covers off to water really thoroughly now and then. But like honestly, they do really pretty darn well. And typically, you know, if I just like water over the top of them and most of the water gets in, and then just occasionally I'll take the row cover off and like do a really deep watering. But I think that's gonna be good. I'm just gonna get that row cover on, protect that. Oh, as I'm over here in this corner, the Mexican sunflowers that I kind of snuck into the corner of this bed are starting to bloom. Just look how pretty these flowers are. So gorgeous. I absolutely love them. They are so stunning. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And the snake root though, I think I'm gonna have a snake root over here. I think I'm gonna pull this out at the end of the season. It has just every day when it gets hot, it wilts and it just looks terrible. And I'd rather use this space for a different perennial. It's gonna do better and be happier. I don't know if it's like getting too much water because this is kind of like a, you know, this is kind of like the downhill slightly in the garden, so it definitely gets like a little bit more water down here. But then it's just suffering in the heat. Something's wrong with it. I don't know. This is gonna come out at the end of the season. I don't think I want this. And that'll give a little space. This is Russian sage, which I actually have in a container because Russian sage likes to be so much drier than our ground, and so that's been doing well. The phlox always looks gorgeous. It's in a little bit of a lull, but it'll keep reflushing until frost. So yeah, I'm gonna get to pick some new perennials next year for that space, and that'll be fun. But the snake root has earned itself being removed because it just looks too terrible, and I don't want that. All right, so now let's pick out some seeds to start inside. So I'm gonna start a few more green onions inside, just so I can fill them into little containers and pop them here and there. And then I have a couple of other kinds of lettuce, and I just want to have like little lettuce plugs that I can throw just into different containers at different spots. If the squirrels do dig up some things, I'm not going to feel as sad if I have something to replace it with. So I have Lunix, which is like a really pretty kind of oak leaf style, great for hydroponics and out of season growing, they say. So it's very slow to bolt. So I want to get this started and see, but it'll also be a really good one to grow for the spring if it's slow to bolt. And then I also grabbed another one here, which is like another kind of buttery lettuce. I really like the butterhead style lettuces, and sometimes I have a hard time growing them. So I just want to try and see if I can, you know, get a few going and try out some new varieties. And then they also sent me, when I ordered from Baker Creek, they sent me some of these little bok choy. So I figure I'll do a few of those. And some of this lettuce, which is not pretty. I just picked that because it was kind of cool and interesting. What else do I have in here? I think those are all the lettuces. And then I'm gonna grab, I just picked up a stack of lettuce that I had. I'll do a couple more beets, a bit more arugula, and some more of this like freckles lettuce. And I'm not gonna even like label any of these starts. I'm just gonna pop them all into seed trays and just do it really fast, and then stick them under some grow lights in the house, just to have ready. Probably, hopefully in like, 4 to 6 weeks, I can be popping them into containers as needed as we get a frost and there's more holes to fill, and that way I don't have to buy as many starts at the garden center. Of course, I still may end up running out and grabbing a few things, but this way, yeah, got some stuff started. I'm just finding that between the heat that's persisting and the pressure from the slugs and the moths and all the different things, it's been a little hard getting seeds going outside, and so starts are just a little bit simpler. So I'm just gonna plant those all up. That's pretty much it, and go back inside as quickly as I can. I have to say that definitely being pregnant and gardening is interesting. All my other garden mamas out there, I know you know, it's a little tricky. I'm getting really close to my due date now. I'm about 2 weeks away, and so I'm starting to feel it. And I'm really like getting ready. I mean, starting seeds right now, 2 weeks from my due date, is also probably optimistic, but you know, it is what it is. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get these plants all seeded up, and yeah. All right, so I just ran up and put all the seedlings inside and changed because it's so hot out, and then I realized that I hadn't filmed an outro. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I'll keep you posted on how those little seedlings do. Hopefully the squirrels stay out of the beds now. I think this is going to be really good. I love these little row covers, and once it cools down, it definitely won't be too hot in there for the seedlings, and they'll do really well all the way probably through till like maybe January. These really help. I find that the accelerator row covers keep things warm as long as it's like above, you know, 28, like a really deep frost, and then once you start getting into like the really hard frosts, then you know there's not that much they can do. Anyways, I'm gonna do a little bit of fertilizing now and wrap things up because it is hot out. Hope you're having a wonderful day in your garden. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.